Howdy. Vanessa, good to see you. All right, so glad to have everybody back. If you're watching this later on the recording, I'm sorry we missed you, but J Cubed, yep, it's Gary, the one and only Gary. But if you're watching this later, thank you so much for coming. We're glad to have you here, even if you can't be live. Obviously, the topic, our favorite new games that we played in 2024. We got our special guests, our kind of recurring crew here has been kind of nice. We got Fettigator Gary and Nick. I'm going to let you guys introduce yourself. If I can, you know how I am. Let me relearn every single time how to do this. And I'm going to make Nick big. Can I do it? If I click on you, maybe. No, hold on. Whoa. Okay.
Made you big.
I did. Why do I have to relearn this every single time? Anybody want to be? All right. You know what? While I figure it out, Nick, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Sure. Yeah, my name is Nick Gurley. I'm the executive producer at Sea Stories Creative Studios. We brought Void Pilot's Legacy to Kickstarter last year, which we successfully funded at 319%. And we just locked the pledge manager, and we are starting our manufacturing here next month. So that's super exciting for us. And that means the game will be coming to tables on time, at least so far. So within the next 6 months.
That's awesome. That's all right, Vanessa. You can blame Gary anytime. Yeah, that is an excellent achievement, man. First game launch, right?
It is. It's our first game launch. Super exciting.
Okay, awesome. All right, Gary, hold on, because I figured out how to do this the hard way, like the really slow, hard way. I got to click the 3 dots. So there we go.
Oh, really big. Oh, yeah. Hey, I'm Gary. I'm live here in Indianapolis, and I've been on a few different shows. I started with Man vs. Meeple, and then I went on and did some stuff with Ant Lab Games. And now I'm just, I basically like to say I just kind of go in, I just jump into everybody else's streams. So, I try to just bring a friendly face and talk about games. That's what it's so much fun to do that. So it's good to be here.
Always good to have you. And we love you for that. Both you guys. It's just very nice and pleasant. So what we're going to be, and I'm Mike, your board gaming every dude. This is my channel. So if you're here, I hope you know who I am. But good to have you. Yep. Anyway. So I didn't really set super strict guidelines for you guys. I wanted to do games that were new to us playing. So yeah, so if it wasn't released in 2024, that's okay. Because a lot of viewers on this channel are kind of like me. We don't necessarily get to, we might get to our 2023 games, 2022 games 1 or 2 years late, but they're still fairly new. I happened to be able to stay within 2024 by some miracle for the very first time. Hey there, Vivian. But so we're going to share just a few of our favorites. But first of all, our quick little icebreaker. I didn't get to give you a heads up, Nick. So I'll start with you, Gary. Very quickly, you only get to have one of these. Either you get to have dice-based games with no cards for the rest of your life, or card-based games with no dice for the rest of your life. Which one do you pick and why?
Up until 2024, there was an easy answer for me, but this year has brought a couple games. It's like, man, I really do like playing with cards, but I'm still going to go with dice. I just love dice. I love dice drafting, dice manipulation. I really, really enjoy that. So if I have to pick, I'm picking the dice. I'm still going to go with the dice.
Okay, that actually surprised me. Now, here's the thing. I might panic and forget how to get you out of solo layout, so one of you might get stuck up there alone for the rest of the night, just to give you fair warning. So, Nick, it might be you. I don't know. But anyway, Nick,
terrible for you ready? Viewers.
Yeah, you got a choice ready?
I do. Yeah, for me, it's cards. Okay. I as much as I love dice and the crazy machinations that occur whenever you roll them, also I'm a terrible dice roller. I really like the idea of cards because, and certainly as a game designer, you can really control some of the math and make it really very entertaining. And then of course it's always fun to add in expansions later on, and you can change the gameplay quite a bit just by kind of doing that. And plus, I've seen some things too, like Dungeons and Dragons has a great expansion where they actually sell a deck of cards for dungeon masters to replace dice to basically add a little bit of a difference to the game. So yeah, cards for me.
Okay. All right. So that both of you picked actually different than what I thought for each of you. I thought it would be the other way around. So
It was
so
close. It was close.
Yeah, that was close. I'd have to go with cards. I'm trying to. I love some dice drafting, but I have a complicated relationship thanks to ISS Vanguard and dice. They stress me out. Really quick shout out to Gizmo. You put down there your top 20 went live a week and a half ago. Gizmo Board Games there. He's got a real cool channel, so be sure to check out. He's got a lot of solo stuff as well that I've enjoyed. And if you want to put your games that are on your list for your favorite new to you games in the chat, I love that. I love that. Keep your conversation going. If I miss it, just yell at me or something. I found a way to do a survey to ask you guys things in YouTube, but from this StreamYard thing, I don't know what to do, and we will surely go into a void if I try. So we're not going to do it. So we're going to go through our games one at a time. Nick, I'd like to start with you. Just one game in just a few minutes. I'll pull it up on Board Game Geek. You don't have to teach us how to play it, but just what you like about it, why it was one of your favorites that's new to you this year.
Yeah, so actually, I think my favorite game, which actually this was my favorite game of 2024, is actually relatively older, and I think a lot of people already know it. Spirit Island. I feel like.
Okay, hold on.
Game...
Hold on.
wait.
I hope y'all are entertained by technologically deficient hosts. I'm going to share the Board Game Geek page so I can show a picture.
Sure.
And I'm going to, yes, I found it. Look at that. I'm so proud of myself. All right. But now, hold on. I have to get rid of this gigantic, there it is. We're getting rid of that to never come back.
So one thing I love about seeing other people's screens is like the advertisements are always based on what you've been searching. So I don't know where you're going, but it looks like you're going on a trip.
You heading out of here, or what's the deal?
Oh, Gizmo, you'd do better than me. You'd be fine. All right, what's the name of the game?
Spirit Island.
Oh, of course. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, Nick, tell me about Spirit Island.
Yeah, so what's funny is that, first of all, I feel like when you brought this up, and I was thinking, wow, this was actually a super fun game for me. I feel like everyone else has already probably talked about it, and way smarter people than me, but I had never picked it up. And I actually was listening to a podcast about the top 10 solo games, and I was like, I've never tried that one before. So I went ahead and found it. It's a really fun game, especially in solo mode. I was very impressed with how, once you figured out the sequence of the game, it's actually very easy to set up. So the setup time is not onerous in any way. It's got a very simple system that I thought added a lot of really neat complexities to it, where basically you are trying as a spirit to chase these invaders off this island. And basically you as a single spirit have the ability to really strategize and figure out ways to, chase these people off your land. I did find the first couple of times I played it that I was really terrible at the game. And it's a couple of things you have to track, like clearly you have your energy, and then you have your cards that you're playing, which are basically like your powers that you can use against the invaders to scare them. And then as you're successful, you start destroying the invaders, their cities and their towns, causing fear to basically occur in their civilization. So they want to basically leave. And then on top of that, you also have this element system. So as you're playing cards, you have these innate abilities as well. I was having a hard time.
Dice in this?
No dice, right? Just cards.
Okay. And this must be I'm flipping through deluxe stuff, obviously. Like that, you didn't have all this painted stuff. Okay.
No, mine isn't that pretty. Okay. And one thing I really liked, it also has a neat timing sequence. So like you're able to figure out what the invaders will do after just a couple times of playing through it. And so the game starts becoming a really fun puzzle. It's not like a horrible brain burn by any stretch. It's actually played in a very reasonable amount of time. And so when you're just looking for something to play solo, it's super easy to set up. I never did play it with other people, but I bet you that would be.
And why would you? It's nonsense.
Yeah, why would you? I think the interesting thing is that what it does create is like synergies between the spirits. So you can like have a very aggressive attacking spirit versus a more defensive spirit, which could be kind of interesting. But I think my concern would be that would really slow the game down when you're playing by yourself. it really flows very quickly and it's a lot of fun. So yeah, that was my top game.
Awesome. And that's a common one I've heard. And actually, before I forget, while somebody's talking, if you see me looking around, I'm listening. I'm trying to be respectful, but I'm going to put a survey in the chat. And if you're watching this later, it will be in the description for the Viewer's Choice or Player's Choice Award. So my YouTube video for next month is going to be a little pseudo award show. We're going black tie. We're doing the whole thing. But it's going to be the games that you guys vote on. So I'm going to put that link in the comments eventually here when I'm not too afraid to try it, probably while Gary's talking. So good pick. All right, Gary, give us one of your picks.
All right. Well, I was actually all three of mine I picked from the 2024, but I will say one of my top picks of the year actually is a re-implementation of an older game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And that is Salt Fjord, which is a re-implementation of Santa Maria. I love Santa Maria. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I finally got to play. And Salt Fjord isn't even out in the U.S. I was able to go over and play with David Waybright one day not too long ago, and he had a copy because he was one that actually showed me that game years ago when Santa Maria came out. And so this is the re-implementation. They've changed some things. Oh yeah. It's pretty much the same type of game. Yes, they've changed them. Oh, this is a dice drafting game. I mean, you're drafting your dice. You're putting it at different parts of your board to be able to fill in kind of like your Norwegian town, and those are gonna give you resources because there's also some polyominoes that you're gonna be putting on your board, and every time you put in dice, you're gonna be getting those resources. And then there's a couple tracks that you can go up that have replaced some of the tracks from I think it was a monk track in the original, the Crusader track or something like that. So they've changed those tracks. And then there's a river right in the middle of that board. And that's where you're going to go fishing. And you can kind of use your dice to kind of go up and get fish. And the further out you go, the better fish you're likely to get. And you got to bring them back. And it's just, man, there's just something about dice drafting. I really love it. And the way these guys do it. These guys are notorious for their dice drafting games. I mean, they obviously did Santa Maria. I believe they did Automania. They did Sparks, which is kind of over my head. They're really great with these. A
game was over your head?
Right over here. There.
Oh, like it's literally over your head.
Right behind my head.
I was about to say,
maybe, to the right of my head.
I want to play it, get better, and challenge you to it.
Yeah. But I can't wait for this one to come out. I'm more than willing to donate my Santa Maria to somebody who would like it. I still love Santa Maria, but this one just adds just a little more meat, which I really liked, and it's just great. I love both games. I love this game. This was a fantastic game.
Oh,
so glad they did
nice.
This.
And you know how distracted I get. Did you get to play it solo?
No, I only played it with David, so I played it too. I'm
because it's not in the US yet.
I think you can play it solo, but this is one of those games. If you got really someone to play with, at least one other, it really opens things up because you're kind of jockeying, because the way you jockey for these tracks can change up when with other players. But and it's only 3 rounds, which is crazy because that first round you're like, well, there's 2 more rounds because we just flew through that. And that second round is like, okay, it's a little longer. And that third round, whoa, there's so much like crunchiness. Going on. Like, what do I do here? Why am I going to play this one? And it's just awesome because you keep going until you're done playing your turn. So,
have either of you played Rurik Dawn of Kiev or heard of it? I think that's only 4 rounds, and it's kind of surprised me with that where
scaling.
Yeah, that scaling up goes nuts. Well, that looks beautiful. I hope is it going to be coming to the States
soon. It should be soon. It's one of those Essen games. You know, some people go, "Oh, that game came out last year." Well, yeah, we didn't get it until March, April of the following Essen. So it came out at Essen, and it'll be in stores shortly.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And it looks beautiful. I love the colors of the game board. Like it looks really pretty.
They really did a great. It looks so much better in person too. It looks kind of busy in these pictures, but when you see like, oh yeah, I see what I'm doing here. I get it. So
gotcha.
Wow. Could you
Hey,
go one
Ali.
more
Yep,
time? Like,
salt
could you like
forward there.
flip through a little bit through the pictures one more time? I just kind of
Going back.
yeah. Look at that. Those are so cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
got
love
the
the
little
colors
screen
they
printed.
chose.
Yep. We have the same color scheme likes. There's a certain brightness. It's not just purple and green. There's a certain tint or a certain hue right there that's real nice. Yeah, Gizmo, you'll have to try Rurik. It's really good. All right, let me pull up one of mine here. Which first I want to say, so it's actually the Mandalorian Adventures is one of the most fun experiences I have had in a
I've
game
heard
this
that.
year.
I haven't played this one.
This is phenomenal, and it's odd because so first of all, as far as Star Wars goes, I wouldn't consider myself a fan. However, my friends are. So I have had a full-on lightsaber combat in front of like 20,000 people on the ice because my friends are. I like the video game, The Fallen Order. I like that. Mandalorian, I have no interest in. I've watched it because I kind of have to, and that was a negative for me, actually. So I know it's terrible. A Baby Yoda's cute. It just honestly didn't interest me. The games interest me a lot. Anyway, so the Mandalorian theme is not what drew me in. But what did draw me in is the publisher is Unexpected Games, and the designer is it Corey Knizia? Am I saying it right? Okay. And I'm a big old fanboy. So Unexpected Games, they make exactly that. I loved what was their first mystery one where you play as the 4 teenagers? It starts with The Initiative. I didn't get to play 20 Scoundrels or something like that. So I got this. And this is like, so if you want something like, say, Gloomhaven Jaws of the Lion, which wasn't my jam. I tried it. I played the tutorial. I don't like the top card, bottom card selection. It was too stressful. But this is kind of similar where you are picking a character from The Mandalorian, any of the main characters in the show. You put them on a map, and the map is a book like, not Spirit. Is it Spirit Island that has like a book? It's not Spirit
No,
Island.
you're
It's the
probably
other
thinking
one.
like the Sleeping Gods. That
Sleeping
or
Gods. There you
Tidal
go.
Blades, I think, does this now. Yeah.
Yeah. Which I'm usually is kind of a turnoff for me. You have a friend who works for Unexpected Games, Vanessa, helped with the design. Please tell them thank you or give it, that's wonderful. I'd love to meet them because I absolutely love their stuff. But anyway, you go on the map, you have to complete a mission, and you're just playing a card and taking an action. Like you move and you play cards to fight and you beat baddies and complete a mission. And it follows the story of season 1 of The Mandalorian. It's so simple to learn for if you're already a gamer. It's not a gateway game, but if you're already like mid-core or something like that, it was so fun. So I played every single scenario solo during a little vacation in Myrtle Beach. But I also had a friend who's not a gamer, and she played this with me. We did 2-player, and you get to play semi. So one of you might be a traitor, might not. So you got some nemesis element, where you're working together, but you can betray each other as well. And we had such a good time. This is phenomenal. And they keep releasing scenarios on the site so you can replay new things. So for like a fun, obviously this isn't a Euro-ish puzzle kind of thing, but a fun adventure where you're just playing 1 or 2 cards to do something and strategizing. Absolutely my favorite of any game in this genre. Absolutely loved it.
So I didn't know they were they're putting out more content. That's real interesting.
They do. So they might still be putting out content for the initiative as well. Like they put up new puzzles and new puzzles and new puzzles. I don't know about the 20 Scoundrels, 400 Scoundrels. There's some amount of Scoundrels. I don't know.
3,000, isn't it? I think it's 3,000.
3,000 Scoundrels.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. But I just really respect them as a publisher, and any chance I can play their stuff. This one, love it. But he also designed. He must be a Star Wars fan, because isn't he the one that designed Star Wars Rebellion?
Well, he was with
Maybe
Fantasy
I'm wrong
Flight
on
Games. I remember right for a while. I mean, he was like
he was the FFG.
he was way up
or
there.
Maybe it was
I think
Imperial
maybe Imperial
Assault.
Assault. Yeah,
It was Imperial Assault.
Yeah,
so it's
but he
like
was involved in a
Imperial
lot of
Assault
those.
Light.
Yeah, just looking at it does
cool.
remind me of Imperial Assault. So
Yep. It's like a simpler, where Imperial Assault's kind of stressful with the dice.
Yeah, it's heavy.
This doesn't have the stress.
So okay, so I have to ask. So you watched The Mandalorian. You love the Mandalorian game. Oftentimes,
No, not the game. I like the Cal Kestis games, the Fallen Order, the Jedi Survivor.
Right. I'm sorry. You mean I meant the board game, but like the game you're bringing up here, Mandalorian Adventures.
Yes.
But I guess like one of the draws for me would be the thematic like pull of that. Do you enjoy that?
It is, but they did better than the show. Puts me to sleep. Again, it's wonderfully done. I don't mean to light anybody on fire. People love it. I think it's done well. It doesn't. It just bores me. Okay, it just bores me.
Okay.
The game didn't bore me. Like you play as this. I felt stuff. So you play as this robot dude, and I guess in the show, does robot dude blow himself up?
Yeah.
Save everybody's life?
Well,
that's your
kinda.
final move.
Yeah.
You have a card where you get to blow yourself up to save everybody's life. And you're out. You're out if you do that. But I love it. I'm like, this is okay.
Oh.
Enough.
Oh,
Going out with a
Enough.
blaze of
Back to
glory.
you. Yeah. All right, Nick. Back to you. What you got?
wow. Okay, so actually, the second game again. I'm clearly like coming into board games much later than you guys. So this is like all my games are like older games.
That's
I'm like,
why
oh,
you're
I
here.
found this new
like
game.
it.
This is fantastic. Yeah, so this is a game that my brother Alex. So Alex is the game designer over at Sea Stories with me. He's the one who actually designed Void Pilot's Legacy. I do all the business stuff. He does all the hard stuff. So he brought this game during one of our business trips, and I really enjoyed it. It's Tiny Epic Pirates. So the Tiny Epic series is super fun. I've played a lot of the other ones because when I used to travel a lot, I would just toss it in a bag and bring it with me. But Tiny Epic Pirates was actually a really fun game for 2 players. I really enjoyed it. It was shockingly very entertaining. So a couple of hallmarks of it I liked a lot, whereas like the fact that you lay out the map differently, so every time you play the game, it's a little different. I really like the timing sequence, which added a lot of strategy to like how you're thinking about the game. And then I like the fact that basically the concept of the game is that you're a pirate trying to bury your treasure, and while also avoiding the Navy, the authorities, if you will, and then also avoiding things.
And it comes with these little mini ships.
It does. It comes with these little mini ships, and what you're seeing is like the cargo there. And what happens is the economy system in the game is set that as something is sold, basically it becomes less valuable. So like it would drop off on the value chart, and the next thing below it moves up. And what happens is it becomes a race against your opponent to like collect stuff and then sell it really quickly. It reminds me of a game that I used to play when I was younger, which I think is still out there. It's like a collectible. I call it a collectible card game, but you actually punch out little ships. I think it's called Pirates. The name of it kind of escapes me right now, but basically, this game was I thought a very accessible version of that, and a really well done in a tiny package game. So if you're looking for something really small to take with you somewhere, this is a really fun game to play with someone.
Is this your first Tiny Epic game?
No, it's not my first one, actually.
Okay.
I played the Tiny Epic. I think it's the Starships one, and then also basically like fantasy tactics. As I call them like based on their themes. I can't always remember their names, but the Tiny Epic Pirates to me has been my favorite one so far.
Okay, awesome. I haven't branched into Tiny Epic yet. I think I bought Dinosaurs, and then somebody else was able to play it, so I sent it along to them. So I haven't played it yet. But no, don't feel bad about bringing games that aren't 2024. I intentionally wanted that not to be a thing because that's just not the case for most of us. It's just not achievable. But no, beautiful work. I love the quality of the Tiny Epic stuff. But let me go back. There was a few things in chat. There was Salt Ford there, but I think it was starting with J Cubed. Yeah. So I've seen so Wormspan, and Vanessa, you said that made your list too. And that's funny because I swear I thought it was a joke. I thought it was an April Fool's joke when I saw, and I thought the same when I saw Finspan. But you're right, Wormspan was fantastic. It stood on its own, I think. Ezra and Nehemiah, I wanted to play that one, J Cubed. I do like historical themes. I like the biblical historical themes. I was disappointed in Jerusalem, but Ezra and Nehemiah, I'd like to try that. And Cascadia. Any of you guys play Cascadia?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I had zero interest. Zero interest. It looked so boring to me. and I played it, and what a fantastic little game.
Don't judge a
But
book by
yeah.
its cover, Mike.
I do all the time, and I
I
always
do
regret.
too.
I always do. Hey, rolling dice, Pirates of the Spanish. What is Pirates of the Spanish Main?
That was the game that I brought up that it reminded me of, but in like a much smaller, more accessible version. The thing with Pirates of the Spanish Main is like basically you buy these booster sets and then you like punch out the little ships. It's super fun actually if you like building like little ships. And then you like
Okay.
they have measurements and it's very much like old school wargaming. So Gary, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Like
Mhm.
you meter out the distances. You actually use the
Yep.
cards to measure them out.
Yep.
Super fun actually. But the thing is like if you don't have the booster packs, there's a barrier to entry there. It's not as gateway as you might like. Tiny Epic Pirates, everything was contained in the box.
Okay. Awesome. And I see Allie, so you'd recommend Dinos for solo. Good. All right. E and N. Oh, Ezra and Nehemiah, top game of 2024. All the more reason for me to try that out. All right, Gary, what you got for me?
Well, I mean, J Cube he stole my thunder. I was
Okay.
going to say Ezra and Nehemiah.
Well, tell me about it.
Garfield games is kind of hit and miss with me. I think some of the stuff gets almost too complicated, too much for what it needs to be. Kind of almost like I think how some Lacerda games are. All right,
Hiding
I know
my
all the
ads,
Lacerda,
hiding my privacy.
all the Lacerda cultists are going to come after me now for like no. But this one, man, as a believer, I love the story. The story is amazing, and you're all, there, especially those, on the kind of the Christian side, we're like we don't have any good games like that kind of teach stories, or like there's so many good historical games out there that teach you the thing, and they nailed this one to an absolute T. Especially if you know the story. If you don't know the story, you're still gonna like this game. If you like worker placement, if you like almost like there's little tech trees, everything makes sense in this game. And it's probably, for most people, it's probably going to be like medium plus. But I mean,
Okay.
you got to get your resources. There's a lot of resource management because you got to grab the resources to build the wall. Well, but you got to get your prophets out there and get these people educated and work on the Torah, and then you got to have the priests in there working on the temple and doing the sacrifices, and then you got your people. You got to make sure they're doing what they need to be doing, so they can bring in the resources or use the resources in certain ways. And man, this game just seriously, it is one of those games that, you'll kind of attach, like, I know this story. Does this thing work? And they just nailed it. I mean, I really don't know what else to say, other than it runs smooth. But like I said, it's a little bit.
Do you have people trying to foil your plans?
Yeah. You're gonna have some of that come in too, trying to come in and stop you. And I really, really like how when the wall is, they show up in Jerusalem, the wall's all torn down. So you got to use the resources. So all around that board is the wall, but there's different resources. So you got to find those resources, grab them so you can build certain aspects of the wall, because certain aspects of the wall will take certain resources. It's just super clever. And I mean, it just the whole game just sings. And this is easily one of my top 3 games of the year. So I got to give it to Garfield. They nailed this one. The only thing I wish, guys, just make a little bigger box. I mean, that thing is tight,
box?
And it's heavy. I mean, it is. I don't even know. They're going to start putting.
Gotcha. The actual
the board game box. Yeah. They're going to
Okay.
start putting 8-12 fold board games in these boxes. I kid you not. You pull this thing, like, it's just still unfolding as you're like, oh my goodness, that board's big. And they shove it in that small box, which is a lot of little pieces and stuff. But
they're the opposite of Portal games.
Yeah. And you know what? This is one of those games where you're using cards, and the card actions, the way they use their card actions. It's just clever. It's just really, because if you've played a Garfield game, you're gonna easily get into this, because they take almost like they take some of the best aspects of their better games and throw it into this and just kind of meld the whole thing. So fantastic. Yeah, I would definitely try to find a way to play this, because I think you'd really, really like it, Mike.
Awesome. I like a little heavy something. So Vanessa, you were saying getting a little on the heavier side there, and
I would agree
sometimes I
with that.
love that. Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes I mean, I love it, but I'm also in a position that I can lay a game on a table and it can be there for 2 weeks, and sometimes it is untouched. And I can pick, I can play 1 turn, 2 turns. If I had to play in one sitting, I'd feel very different. New American Underground, howdy, good to see you. Let's see what else we got there. Box of big, okay.
So one thing I laugh at, like as you're talking about, Gary, the box, and I think J Cube says it's like a tight fit, and they actually have a box packing guide. Like,
Yes.
reminds me of like the Arkham Horror game. There's like a huge box and like this tiny little area for like your cards. Like they just gotta
Right.
collaborate a little bit, right?
Oh yeah, and even then you're like taking pictures with your phone. Okay, I had this is the first layer. This was the second layer. So when you start putting it back in. So yeah, Garfield, just make bigger boxes. Just slightly bigger. That's all we ask.
And before I forget, so I put it in earlier, but I put the survey one more time. So you're welcome to click that if you want to fill that out anytime to put in your votes. There's just 10 questions. You don't have to fill all of them. You just type in your favorite game for each category. If you only fill out one, it's no big deal. All right. I think we're over to me. So if I was keeping it in 2024, I would have put in Castles of Burgundy, the special edition with Awakened Realms. That was my first. Well, no, actually, I played Castles of Burgundy, the first, or the anniversary edition, whatever that was. And the upgrade in the solo gameplay was so fantastic. I would have picked that. But I want to go with Nick here and go with something ancient. And it's called Expedition or Expeditions to Newdale. Expedition. But it's new to me.
Is that Pfister?
I believe so. 2019.
Yeah.
Alexander Pfister. Never have I ever played a game that I thought was ugly. That was a nice solid Euro that had a campaign that I just thought was so cool. I mean, you don't really need the story. You're just these people from this town. I never played Oh My Goods. Apparently this is the
based off of that.
Oh My Goods. I've never played that. But I just picked this one up when I was trying to learn about games that kind of were you could go to after playing Catan or something like that. And I noticed it's a whole, there's 8 different boards. So this was back when they did boards instead of, flip books. So there's 4 different boards, double-sided. Each board is you on your journey trying to get to Newdale, to settle in some new land or something like that. And all you do, you can see on the pictures, basically what you're doing as you're traveling is you're just building up an engine of resources. You're building a mine to produce coal. You're building up a farm to produce sheep, which you then butcher to make meat. And you trade in, you're able to trade all these things in as goods in order to basically gain points. I won't go into the whole thing of it, but I love that the way it worked, like as a tutorial that accelerates in the challenge level. I'm only in the first couple scenarios out of 8, so I mean, I can't really talk. But I was so impressed with this because art is important to me, and this is not it. This is well done. I can read it, but it by no means is the type of thing that I look for in art. But of the Euro games I played, this one actually excited me more than any game I played in 2024. So I don't know if any of you have tried it out, but you might want to consider it. It's definitely medium weight. Pretty easy to learn though, because they walk you through. They've got a nice tutorial to walk you through every single thing, so you can open it, follow the tutorial, learn to play, and keep going.
Yeah,
I've
if you've played any of the Pfister card-based games, like I haven't played this, but I've played
this is my first Pfister game, I think.
Oh, okay.
Unless did he do Grand Austria?
No. He did Port Royale.
No.
Of course, then he went on to do Great Western Trail, Broom Service.
I have it on my shelf. I haven't played it.
Which one?
Argentina?
Oh yeah. Oh, Great Western Trail. Yeah. That's one of the Great Western Trails. Yeah. But there's a couple of his games where he uses these cards. They're multi-use cards. You use them for the resource, or you turn them over for the coins or whatnot. So
Yeah, it looks.
All right.
It's pretty.
What?
It's. How was I going to say this? I might have just lost my train of thought. It may have derailed. Yep,
Come
it's
back to
definitely gone.
Come back to us. I want to hear it.
I got
It's your
nothing.
turn anyway. So if it pops up, just interrupt yourself.
Yeah,
Do
no,
you
I
have a
appreciate
third
that.
game? Do you have a third game, Nick?
I do. So actually, it's the one I brought up last time. So if your frequent viewers have already heard me talk about it, but it's Frostpunk, which I guess if you call New Dale ancient from 2019, Frostpunk is like a year
Totally
before
ancient.
that. So is that when dinosaurs roamed the earth? I guess so. Anyway,
Pretty
I really
much.
like the Frostpunk game.
So we're
I
going
just wanted to,
depressing.
yeah, I just wanted to bring it up one more time. And so I guess in the same vein as like the game you just talked about as resource engine, right? You're basically doing the same thing, but in the backdrop of like a very sad, depressed world where basically everything is turning to snow and being frozen, and you have to make horrible decisions to make sure your civilization survives. So actually, Mike, where do you put the complexity of this game? Like when you talk about like medium weight, like where do you put Frostpunk?
Frostpunk, I have only played it on Steam, actually. And before I forget, 4Y Games, oh my goodness, I know your name too. This is so sad, but welcome. I'm glad to see you. That's embarrassing. Anyway, I'm sorry.
No,
So have you ever played it on Steam?
no, I haven't. I was just wondering because to me, I consider this like a relatively heavy game. It took me quite a few
If it's
playthroughs
anything
to
like
get it.
the video game, this is
Okay.
like heavy.
Okay, good. I just was trying to make sure. I was calibrating my heavy, medium, and lightweight meter, I guess. But I
If
really
you
enjoyed
are
this game.
managing both like surviving in the winter in a post-apocalyptic world and managing like medics and
Oh yeah.
food and sending people to get resources, it's heavy.
Oh yeah. It's super depressing, and that's the part that I love about this game the most is they really captured. If you can imagine a world where basically you are all that stands between your civilization and complete collapse, and the horrible things that you have to do, like putting children to work in the mines. Basically, there's a couple of things that I don't want to spoil, but it's a lot of
Because you
fun.
pass laws, right?
You do pass laws, and some of those laws can get pretty nasty, actually. And then you're making decisions like, should you freeze your workers because you just can't afford to heat their workspaces anymore and deal with the sickness?
Yeah.
The truth is, no matter what happens, you're going to lose this game, I feel. And as long as you approach
It's
it
like
with
playing
that,
this
the
War
right
of
way.
Mine. If have you ever played this War of Mine? And thank you,
No.
Ali. Glad to have him. It's similar to that. You're gonna lose. It is as depressing as can be, and I love it for it.
Yeah, they really captured to me they really captured like real leadership. You really feel like like you feel the weight of leadership in this game, which is I think hard to sometimes translate into a board game. So they did a great job here.
This is one every time I pass it at the board game store, I'm like, I know I'll love it on those nights when I just want to cry. Like, let's get this out, but I don't want to learn it. I want somebody to teach me. So if you ever want to teach me, I'm down.
Well, Mike, how about this? How about you get Frostpunk and I'll get Final Girl, and then that way
We can
each be
teach each
playing
other?
each other's games, right?
We can do that. We can do that. I can send you Final Girl and you can send me Frostpunk.
Oh, there you
All right.
go. There you go.
That might work out. Hector really likes Frostpunk. Okay. Thank you, James. Thank you. I'm curious to see those. 4Y Games, I know your name. This is terrible. Why don't I see you on TikTok and Instagram all the time? See, when you see the names of channels and things versus people's names, it gets very confusing. But he's a publisher. He's got a cool little Marsh Hollow game that he let me play like a printout of. That's coming up. Curvin. There we go. Okay. I think I got you next. Gary, you got a third one?
I do have a third one. And I feel like all my games are heavy and well, I should say heavy.
Heavy war games.
Just yeah. Yeah. It's Warhammer.
Frostpunk has got to be the heaviest one so far, so you're okay.
All right. I think my favorite of the year is one that's just recently just started to come out and people are finally getting their hands on it, and that's SETI. SETI is phenomenal. It's everything.
Not the 1979 version.
Not the set. No,
You want?
not
Let's
that
do
one.
let's do a quick comparison.
Oh.
This has got to be a different game.
That is way the different game.
Tell us
is-
about your
That is
favorite
straight.
game of 2024
Yeah,
from
look at it.
1979.
Look at the art right there and the color
Yeah.
scheme.
But this is cool. I mean, look, somebody was like designing this back in 1979.
They
I
might
love
have a
it.
claim against Czech Games here. Hey, we want our name back.
Oh, I don't want to
But-
stir up trouble. Let me get out of here fast.
But no, SETI is man. I mean, this guy. I forgot what's his name. Thomas Holek. I forget his name, but he did Tea Garden this year. He did Galileo Galilei, which I also played, which is good. It was a good game. This was his third game he brought out this year. This game's phenomenal. I mean, again, it's like, and other people have already said this, and it's the perfect way to say it. It's kind of like the best parts of Terraforming Mars, Ark Nova, maybe even a little bit of Lagrange.
Boy, you're striking out hard right now.
Well, no, like taking like the best parts and like stripping it down a little bit.
Okay.
You know, like this is the multi-use card game that I've been kind of waiting for in a while. You can use them for resources. You can use it for, money. You can use it to play to make your future actions cheaper. There's just multiple ways to do it. Also, that board, you're going to send out your probes. And also, and it does this quite often. There are 3 circles in the middle of that board. That's like your solar system. And those are constantly moving. Those are constantly moving. Your player board's kind of like a tech tree-ish type thing. Not quite, but there's every turn, and there's only 5 rounds, another game that just scales. And as you're going, you can take 1 of 7 actions, and then after that, there's multiple free actions you can take. And then once you're done, then you keeps going around. As people are playing kind of off each other and what kind of systems they're scanning, maybe even planets that they have a probe around, you can actually use their probes to help make it easier for you to land. After a while, you start getting traces of extraterrestrial life. Once a certain number of traces have been captured as the whole group that's playing, you will discover a alien race, and there's 2 alien races you get to play with. That comes with 5. They all do different things. They'll come with their own little rule set, and it's just it turns into like point salad type stuff. It's just like, where can I get the most points? Where can I do this? And it just starts scaling up. It looks super busy, but in reality, it's not. It's like a game of like amazing choices you get to make each time you come around. You got 1 main action, use it wisely, and that could chain into some really, really cool actions. And then
it looks like something I like in it. Now, I've never played Terraforming Mars. It just doesn't interest me. But so I see it has a similar look. But this one really, really appeals to me. But the board, what you mentioned about it looking busy, but to me, it looks busy the way that like on Mars, which is probably heavier. On Mars,
way heavier.
Okay, but that I can handle because the board, it has plenty of empty. It's not like other Lacerda games. It has a lot of empty space until you build out the game. And this has, even though there's a lot going on, it has enough empty space that visually I can survive that.
And here's the thing. You see those planets. I mean, those are places you can go to. So the thing that I really like about it thematically, it makes sense because people understand Saturn. They understand Jupiter. They understand asteroid fields that you have to take 1 extra action to get through a movement to get through that. It's harder to get through those. And then there's just a lot of fun things kind of going on in the game. Like I said,
love the colors.
Oh, the colors are. This looks way better. And I have also played this solo. Works great solo. It is a fun solo game. It comes with a really nice solo AI. You manage their thing. It's hard. It's not easy either. Oh yeah, there's like a sun in the middle that kind of hold those 3 things. Somebody's put a light in the middle. That's a good idea. Cool. I'm going to do that.
I like that.
That's actually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, these are beautiful pictures. Like truly, I mean, I'm not sure that this game is for me either. I see like that's happening a lot in the chat too. But I do think the board is just beautiful.
Yeah, this is one of those games that I think if people would set, I mean, if you could play Lost Ruins of Arnak, this is maybe slightly, just because there's a couple more choices, but actually the rule set is not that much. It's just, what do I do? So if you got a lot of analysis paralysis, like anything else, yeah, I could see where that can, like, okay, take your turn, come on, you know. But it's either fly a probe, scan, discover alien race, or, you know, take some cards and then go to your next thing. So it's just lots of fun choices that I really enjoy in a game. And like I said, the first round, like, woo, that went fast. And then it just starts slowly getting to scaling, like, oh, and to be able to play off somebody else's, like they got there first, they got a lot of points, but I can play off of their probe at circling Jupiter and get some mega points by landing on one of their moons. So it's just kind of fun stuff like that. So, and I see some people saying like the sci-fi. Yeah, I'm not a big sci-fi fan, but this one just makes sense.
You woke the chat up, Gary.
Yeah, I know. I always do.
Yeah. That actually, let me catch up on a few of them. Yeah. So you can't, now this one, actually, I saw it on the shelf and I do really want to play this one because I love, if I'm playing a heavier Euro, and this doesn't look, I would call it heavy for what I consider. So medium to medium heavy. Unless if it's like Lost Ruins Arnak, that's by no means even close to that.
If I could say this real quick, Meeple University, Stella, and I forget her husband's name, they put out a 10-minute teach on this.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, On Mars is a
On Mars is
45-minute teach.
On Mars is, if that's a 4.5 or whatever,
which I love.
This is, yeah.
On
Mars is way heavier than this. Way heavier.
All right, let's see what we got here. So Gizmo didn't play any new party games. Shame on you. No one invites you to their parties. That's okay. We don't need other people. Don't worry about that. Tempted to grab, heard the solos unbalanced, but from what you played, Gary, you enjoyed it.
What's that?
I was just looking at Drew's comment there. Yeah. If this is the same designer, because Galileo, he must like space. That appeals to me as well.
Yeah, and it looks like the Galileo was about like discovering other things too. So maybe the idea
it's a fun game. It's very different. He made 3 different games. It's incredible.
Wow, that's crazy.
Working on all 3, and they're all gonna do well.
Yeah. So apparently 3-player, you've heard is the sweet spot. That's cool.
Look at most games like this.
Is it Allie or Vanessa that's raining on the parade saying it's going to be gone by summer? Somebody was raining. Yep, it was Vanessa raining on the parade. Raining on your parade, saying it won't even be popular by summer.
She's a dream crusher of games.
The dream crusher. I love it. So then, is it Jackie or is it Jacquis? You'll have to forgive me with pronouncing. Sell you on Cascadia. I put a video up, my newest cozy video. If that doesn't work, nothing will. But honestly, I didn't like. I thought that looked like the most miserable experience. I did it because I had to, and I'm quite in love with it. Let's see.
So you'd probably like Harmonies that some people are talking about in there. I haven't played that, but my sister.
That was another one. Didn't interest me in the slightest, and I'm seeing it all over Instagram, and I'm like, don't care. But I enjoy these. I like making these videos where I have to research, like the Catan one and like the cozy one, because I have to play games I wouldn't pick otherwise, and then decide, do they, can I actually justify featuring them? Harmonies was wonderful. I actually enjoy Cascadia more, but now we're off topic. But Harmonies is a lot, just because for solo, Cascadia has more to offer. Harmonies is beat your own score. That's it. But yeah, it's pretty good, James. It's nice. It's fine. Yeah, Ali. But it's beautiful. Now, we've got about 10 minutes left. So what I wanted, you've each done 3 games. My honorable mention, I won't go into super detail about it, but it's an indie publisher game that it didn't get a lot of notice that I'm aware of, but I've never played anything like this in my life. It's a co-op game. And you are playing. Do we have pictures? We don't really have great. See, there's not enough on it really, but I've got the full thing, like player mat and all that. But the reason I was absolutely fascinated by this because, again, I've never played anything like it. So it's cooperative. You have to control 4 characters. Each has their own unique ability, but it's not too difficult. For your turn, you've just got 4 actions you can take. You've got a little coin, and you either shoot, move, or do something special. That's it. And you use those, and you're on this spaceship trying to defeat the fashion tyrant out in the middle of space. So it's like, I don't know if it's Power Rangers or if it's, and I wonder if that's why it didn't get much notice. I'm not really sure, but I'm not sure if it's Power Rangers or Sailor Moon or whatever. I didn't watch Sailor Moon. I know Power Rangers, so that's what it reminded me of. You're in space defeating the fashion tyrant, and you've got these like pet co-pilots that you're trying to rescue. So you're going like, and it's also Star Trek, so you're like teleporting onto your ship and then teleporting onto a planet. And you've got the Mechapede dropping goo on this planet, and then you've got Space Invaders over on this. There is so much going on. I don't know what to call it. I don't know what category it is, but I did think it was very well designed, and I really enjoyed it. But we got to go to our 20 questions for you guys. So I'm going to get rid of this here. Yeah, that's right, Nick.
So wait, did you actually play it solo? Oh, it's a co-op game? So
yeah,
just
I've only played it solo.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess I should be surprised.
SpongeBob. Yep. Okay. All right, let me get rid of, you know how this goes. I'm going to get rid of a screen. That's going to take a while. Look at that.
Wow,
Look
fast.
at that.
It was great. That was
I am very proud of myself. And this is for chat to help. So, and this is open book. So you can look on Board Game Geek or whatever. You get 20 questions to figure out whatever madness, what game I'm thinking of. I try to make sure that it is a game that we all would have heard of, hopefully. That's kind of challenging. But I will tell, if either one of you want it, you can always ask for a hint. It always comes at a cost. It doesn't count as a question. But and chat's there to help you. So,
and it's not.
I've got my game in
chat.
mind. You can ask questions. You can go back and maybe go back and forth. You can help each other out. No pressure.
Oh, are we starting now?
We're starting.
Go ahead, Nick. I went first last time.
Oh, but there's a reason for that. You actually know games. Oh,
well, what you want to do is either narrow like a genre or a, you know, like, is it a dice game? Is it a card game? Is it a publisher, or is it a dungeon crawler? You know, start kind of broad. And
sure.
There's always
right?
that hint. There's always that hint.
Yeah, but it's always yes or no, right? So these are yes or no questions.
It's always a yes or no. Yep.
All right. Okay. Is it newer than 2020?
It is.
Good question. Okay. I'll go with the chat. Is it a beige Euro?
Is it a beige Euro? Can you define that for me?
Does it look like SETI, the Egyptian version?
That's my opinion. Yes.
Okay.
My opinion.
Okay.
Chat, keep track of the questions for me because I'm very forgetful. If the answer is yes, it's an Uwe Rosenberg game.
Yeah. I don't even know where to go with this one.
Drew's got a good question there.
Yeah. Well, his question is, if the answer is yes, it's an Uwe Rosenberg game. Is it an Uwe Rosenberg game?
No, it
is not. It is not.
Oh, okay.
Well, I'll go with That's Drew's. Your third question. That's 3 questions.
I'll go with Drew's. Now, do I have to feed my family? Do you have to feed your workers?
Oh,
such a great. Do you?
No.
If you know that, no. Okay.
No.
Come on, chat. You guys are. Come on. This is. We're
is
struggling here. We're 20% into this.
What's that? 4 questions.
That's 4 questions. Yeah.
You know, it was published after 2020, and I consider it a beige Euro in comparison to the game that you mentioned.
I like Vanessa's question. We should ask that one.
What's that?
Yeah, go right ahead. You're
Could
up.
it be the subject of a Renaissance painting?
Could it be the subject of a Renaissance painting? Oh, absolutely not.
No.
Yeah.
But I like where you're going, Vanessa. I wish they had picked something like that. No.
Hmm.
No. Big fat NO.
Is the weight of the game higher than 3.0 on BGG?
Yes, and to clarify that, just like last time, every time I base all my answers on whatever's on BGG. So if it's not true or accurate, it's not my fault. Yes, it is higher than 3.0.
Okay. So it's a little heavier. A little heavier.
Yeah, what's that? 6 questions?
That's 6.
I'm going to type them in the chat because I forget the numbers. So we're going to get a lot of numbers. Okay.
What do you think, Gary? Should we be asking about theme here now?
Yeah, let's go to theme.
What kind of theme are you thinking so far?
You know, I'll start
James
with this.
has a good question.
But
That's
I
probably
feel like
that's a lot of games.
Like yes, the answer is yes.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
wants
you're
us
on
to-
board games for
He
one.
wants us to
Just what-
lose this. Yeah. It
Nice try, James.
is it okay, I'll just say this. Is the game based in Africa? Because that can include things like Egypt, North of Africa, which has games based out of it.
Not based in Africa.
Okay, not based in
No.
Africa.
No, somebody, Gizmo, you said that eliminates my asking if it had the animal theme.
That's a
I don't know why. Nobody asked that yet.
no,
so
no one's
that's-
asked that. That might be a decent question too. There's been a
I
lot of
think it's a
animal
great
games.
question. Yeah. Let's see. Does it have an animal theme?
Yes,
Gizmo, the weight is over 3.0.
it is over 3. I swear I'm telling the truth. That's
You
8
said
questions in.
the weight is, or I'm sorry, you said it is an animal theme?
It does have an animal.
It is animal theme.
Beige Euro.
It's, to me, I would consider it a beige Euro.
Sure.
I think most would.
Okay.
But again, it's the best I can answer that. After 2020, it is over 3.0 in weight. Do you know the weights, Nick?
Yeah, on BGG,
Like
yeah.
how-
So, I
okay.
mean, yeah, they just
Slightly heavier.
Yeah. I think that was it.
Okay, so it's animal theme. Oh, well,
Mhm.
I'll kind of go with a question that is it Jacques? I guess maybe Jacques.
That sounds
and
right.
Allie. Is it zoo based? Because there's different zoo games out there.
Yes, it is zoo based. I would say yes.
Mm-hmm.
zoo based.
I have an idea.
Is
Can I ask
it-
another? Can I go ahead and do another one?
Yeah.
Is it a Reiner Knizia game?
There are so many names on games for credits. I don't see him anywhere.
He'd be the lead designer.
I
Okay.
figured he'd be the designer, but I don't see his name
Okay.
anywhere.
So I was
in there.
thinking Zuvadis, but that's kind of beigey looking, but that one's out. So okay.
Is it okay? So you said it was zoo based. I think that was
It's zoo based,
It is zoo based. It has
a little
an animal theme.
heavier. People are saying Arc Nova.
Okay, so is this a? Yeah, that's what. Yeah, is it Arc Nova? Oh, let's go with that. Is it Arc Nova?
Yeah, it's Arc Nova.
All right.
Congratulations. Well done. Well done. I'm giving half the credit.
Chat
at
got
least
it.
to
Chat got
on
it. They
that.
were on it.
100% credit goes to James.
Yeah. Okay,
James,
good job,
Jock,
guys.
Allie on it.
Absolutely. Good job. All right, I'm gonna put this survey one last time, and I'll put it in the description if you're watching this later. And if you're watching this later, put the games that you enjoyed most of the year as well. Keep the conversation going. That's where I have fun with this. The lives are different. The lives, I get to chat with you guys. I get to chat with the chat. But when it's later, the only interaction is comments. So appreciate it. Like and subscribe. Gary, where can we find you?
Pretty much nowhere.
Wherever you choose to pop up, you
find
are
me
like
on
the
streams
wind.
is where you find me. You know what? I do frequent the Discord, the board, and the beautiful Brandon and Lexi's chat and also rolling dice and taking names. Marty and Tony over there love their Discord channels, so you'll see me over there as well. So kind of get in there. I guess I'm a stream crasher. I'm a Discord crasher. So that's where you'll find me, and different streams.
All right. And hopefully here again. Nick,
Yeah.
where are you at?
All right. Yeah. So I guess probably the easiest way would be just go to voidpilotslegacy.com. I mean, it's super easy. And then from there, you can get all of our information. But
And you've got Discord as well, right?
We do. We have a Discord, and we also have like social channels. It's just probably easier just go to voidpilotslegacy.com and
okay,
you can contact us there.
Good. And before everybody runs out, I forgot, I have not picked the topic for next month. I should have mentioned this earlier. There's plenty of time to pick it, but if you have an idea, of something, this month was our favorite games from last year. But if you have an idea, put it in the comments or the chat, and it's okay if you don't, putting you guys on the spot. But Gary or Nick, is there anything at the front of your mind that you would like, assuming you come back again to enjoy this? It always depends on schedules, but is there anything that you guys can think off the top of your head that would be interesting?
I'm just so excited to be talking to you. I don't think I've got anything else in my brain.
That's a way out. That's a good way out. Okay. Well, you guys think on it. Everybody think on it.
Game we will never ever play again. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
hey, they'll get the views.
I toyed with the negative route, and I did it with that Unsettled, and I did don't play it solo, and actually it went okay. The publisher actually reached out. They actually really liked the video but it also feels, I haven't built the channel that way, so I don't know. I don't know if I can make it work or not, but it would, after enough games are under the belt, that could happen, because there are games I will never play again, actually. And most people already, you know what? We can do that, because it's not.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's a bad game. It's just a game that you'll never
2025.
play again.
Exactly. It's because it's very subjective, because I'll bet you love them, Gary. We'll see. All right. I'll think about that. Everybody, I'm
totally down for that.
All right. I love you all. Thank you so much for coming. I'll see you next time.
Have a great one.
Bye.